Wesley with LiveWell Mobility and Modifications. We're the experts in finding solutions to help you age at home safely. Today what I'd like to talk about is widening a door. That's a request we get quite often for people that have walkers and wheelchairs. It's a big deal if you come up to a door like this one that's only 24 inches wide. This one goes to a toilet closet, and today we're going to talk about one way that we can approach that. There's several different approaches, but for today's video, let's just talk about one approach. We're going to widen this door here. What am I looking at? What would I need to know? There are four things I want to look at. I want to look to see the space that I have to work with. I want to see what materials I might need. I need to know if there's any obstacles, and I need to know if there's anything that's special about the area and the circumstances that we're working with. Let's look at area first. We want to make this door 32 inches wide. That'd be just enough to get a walker in easily and a wheelchair. So let's take a look at the space. Now I measured beforehand, and our trim work on this door is 3 inches wide. Now that's going to come into play a little bit later, and you'll see why that's important to know. But the space between the trim and this seam, this corner right here, is only about 1 3/4 inches. On this side, the space between the trim and the countertop for my sink is about 4 inches. So I'm shy of my 32 inches that I need for that opening. So where am I going to find it? Let's go back to that trim work. Since it's 3.5 inches wide, I'm going to be able to steal a little bit more space by going with a smaller trim. So if I go with a smaller trim, I can make the modification I need to get my 32 inches. The other thing I want to keep in mind, is there any obstacles in the way of making that happen? Now, one of the things I noticed right away is there's an outlet over here. So that brings up a red flag for me to say, is there anything else? So it's very important for me to look to the other side of the door. And as I do that, there's a light switch. So that could be an obstacle that I need to consider as I'm doing this job. So we need to make sure that we make plans to move that light switch. Where can it be moved? And what's it going to take to do that? Also, I want to know if there's any plumbing in the area that we're working. That's very important. We can do that a couple of ways, through taking a camera into the wall, or going up in the attic and seeing if there's anything up there that might be something that would prevent us from moving this door. Now, in this house, we're working with drywall. But what if we're in an older house, like maybe built in 1939? We might be looking at shiplap wood or plaster. So that's something that we want to keep in mind. What are the materials that we might need? Also, what type of door are we going to use? This one is a standard door. Here's the way that I can see right away that this is a standard height on a door. I'm about 5'8". If I can reach up here and touch this comfortably, I know we're dealing with a standard door. If it's a little beyond my reach, I know that that's going to be a special door. It's going to be a little bit more to get that door. And so I need to consider that and talking with the client and say, hey, we may have to order this door, or it may cost a little bit more for a taller door. Sometimes we come to a situation where the door is actually lower, and we need to find out, okay, why is that true? Is there something above that that we need to know about? And so we need to look into that. Sometimes it's not quite as obvious. Sometimes it's a matter of the space. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So in this corner, this is not quite a 45 degree. This is actually a little bit more of a 30-degree corner, so that's a specialty corner. We'd have to consider that as well. Also, if you take a look at the drywall, there's a very unique texture. This is not uncommon, but it's not everywhere. So this is a specialty texture. It's got a specialty paint. That's a faux finish on the paint. And so we want to make sure that we can match that. And then the last thing that I want to make sure that I'm watching for is the floor. Because when we move that door, there's going to be space between the new door frame and the old floor. We want to make sure that we can match that flooring. Sometimes the clients have some extra tile or some extra wood or laminate that they've saved in the garage or in the attic, and we're going to ask them about that and say, hey, would you happen to have any of this? But in other cases, there may not be. So if that is the case, then we're going to have to look for a solution to matching whatever the existing floor is to meet that gap there. So whether it be carpet or tile or wood, that's something that we always want to consider, is looking down at the floor and seeing what that gap is. So those are just a few of the things that we'd look at in modifying this door. And each one is very different because every house is a little bit different. So we hope that you learned a little bit about our approach in assessing a home as we go in, and we hope to see you in the future. And if you have any modifications that you need done to your home to help with mobility and help you to age at home, please give us a call.